Hey, it's Tommy Thayer from Kiss, and you are watching Tales of a Kiss Geek with Glenn Walker. How about that?
Hey Kiss Army, and welcome to Tales of a Kiss Geek. So today I'm proud to be joined by Philip Shouse from Gene Simmons and Ace Frehley solo bands. Let's do it! Well, Phil, I want to welcome you to Tales of a Kiss Geek. How you doing today, man?
Glenn, I'm doing awesome, man. Thank you for having me on.
Of course, man. So for people who don't know, you play guitar, and you are in Ace Frehley's band and Gene Simmons' solo band.
Yeah.
That is pretty awesome stuff right there.
Yeah,
I'm majorly jealous of you.
it's as would I if I wasn't in my situation. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. It really is wild.
It's pretty cool stuff. I don't know if you know this, but I have had contact with you, maybe without you realizing it. So I'll explain myself.
Okay.
You did that Name That Solo thing on YouTube. The Kiss Name the Solo. Remember?
With John and with the guitar hat guys. Yeah, absolutely.
That's right. And I have I put, maybe you'll find interest in it. I put a little snippet together and I put it on the channel. Basically, what happened was I watched the show and I was sitting with my girlfriend and I thought, like, you know when you do that thing, like, hey, is it okay if I just like watch a few minutes? And I started watching a few minutes and I was like, okay, maybe I'll get like, I'm gonna get the obvious ones like Shock Me, and I'll get like the She solo, but I didn't think that I was gonna get like all of them, right? So like they all start happening. And I went, oh, okay, that's Watching You. Okay, that's Going Blind. Okay, that's this. And then they kept saying after a certain amount of time, okay, the same guy can't keep winning. Can you stop?
I remember you now. Absolutely. That's hilarious.
So I thought it was funny. Like, yeah.
So good game, man. Good match.
Oh, I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to another one. I'm ready for more.
That was a lot of fun. Gene and I did not a Name That Solo, but we kind of did a Van Halen episode too, where we kind of talked about some techniques. But the Name That Solo thing was great with Kiss because, if it's, a lot of the Kiss, a lot of the other guys too, but Ace in particular, those solos are as important as the vocal.
Yeah.
I've got a group text coming in. We're going to go nuts here. Okay, cool.
Oh, you're fine.
I muted it. So yeah, with Ace solos, it's really cool because if you hear a band, if you're going to do a Kiss cover, you better learn the solo the way it goes. Because that's how the song goes. It's as important as the chorus or the lead vocal. So that was a fun one to do.
That was really fun. So I want to ask you, how did you get into Kiss initially?
I got into Kiss kind of late. I was, I think, 15, and my friend Brad McWhorter was a couple of years younger than me in school. And now this is the early 90s when it wasn't really cool in America anyway to be a Kiss fan.
Okay.
And so my friend Brad had the pinball machine back then. Like he had, the whatever little merchandise was available before, the Juggernaut came in and took over it. And you can get coffee mugs and lava lamps and margarita pitchers and stuff like that.
Caskets and coffers.
Yeah, I asked him, he said, hey, I'm curious about Kiss. And he made me a mixtape. And the first thing on the tape was Deuce. I think it had the first 2 or 3 songs off Alive. And I just got it. Everything just clicked with what I was getting into musically. And also I've been playing guitar for a couple of years. And I was really frustrated that the scales and the patterns I was learning in my lessons didn't sound anything like Eddie Van Halen. And I couldn't figure out what was going on wrong. And I heard, it was instantaneous when I heard the Deuce solo. I went, that's what I'm learning in lessons. So then I was like, I can play that. That's a big deal for, 15, 14 years old, getting something, feeling like you could actually play a real solo and real song. So that was all kind of together, learning guitar, learning musically, learning musical elements from Kiss, and also just being into the whole thing. So, and once I got into it, I was just hooked, and it became alongside of the Beatles, the other biggest influence in my life. It's affected, not just musically, like my work ethic, my, self-esteem, the way everything, every cell of my body was permeated, like the Beatles did the same thing, but, about 5 years earlier for the Beatles.
That's awesome. So that means that the first new Kiss album they released in your time of getting into the band would have been Revenge or Alive 3. Is that right?
Yeah, that was my first tour. I saw them too.
Oh, no way. That's so cool.
So, yeah, that was my first Kiss show. It was Trickster, Great White, and Kiss. And that was a great tour too, because then they were on fire. The set list was great. And that was a great first experience. They had come around on Hot in the Shade. All my friends went, but I wasn't into it at the time.
Yeah.
So then Revenge was my first one.
Awesome. I actually have, as crazy as it may seem, like we all have crazy signed pictures and everything. I got, the way in Take It Off, they used to get like the girls up on the stage. My Kiss on Tree is signed by one of the girls. Later years, of course.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one? The brunette? Is that the brunette?
Yeah.
Okay, I remember. I know who told you who you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Totally. Wow, that's cool. I wonder if anybody's ever asked her to do like a Kiss Expo, because they get these people with pretty distant relations to Kiss. I wonder if she's done any of those.
She really should. Like it's like I know Lydia Chris has done a lot and things like that. So
yeah. But there's people that you'll go to Graceland or Elvis's place, and you'll see like his second twice removed is signing a book or something. It's like Kiss Expos are kind of like that too. It's like, well, that guy looked at him back in '74 or something like that, So
do you have a number of how many Kiss shows you've actually seen in your life?
I don't. Do we count cruises as one thing, or is it like 3 shows per cruise?
You are making me so jealous right now. Just roll it all in.
Man, it's around 20 probably.
Holy shit.
Probably.
That's crazy.
I've seen them every chance I've gotten, on any tour they've had. And then I've been on 3 or 4 cruises. I think 3 maybe. And they play 3 times per cruise. They always do a sail away show, which is, not up. And they do 2 performances in the theater. And so most of the time I get to see both of those.
And you can just see, you get to see both of them, do you? Oh, that's cool.
We know a few people we can kind of go, hey, get us into the show.
That's awesome. If I'm correct, I think the people that, if I'm not mistaken, like the people that don't go one of the nights, they see it in their room on a screen or something. Is that right?
Yeah, you got tickets to one show, and then they broadcast it in the cabins, and also you can go to one of the bars and watch it on one of the bigger TVs too. So it's set up where everybody can see both shows, but you're only in person at one of them. So
yeah, I've only ever seen them over here. They played on the Sonic Boom tour over here, and they played initially, like they played over here in on the Crazy Nights tour, but I wasn't even a thing yet. So
and then the reunion tour they played.
That's right. Yeah. No, sorry. They were supposed to play, but it was canceled. It was actually the year I was born.
Oh wow, really? Okay, I got 20 years on you then.
Wow. Good.
So I saw 2 reunion shows. I saw a couple farewell shows. I've seen 3 shows so far on this farewell tour, on the actual tour. But then I saw Sonic Boom and the Alive 35. The Rock the Nation tour was really good.
Yeah.
Have
you ever seen them outside of the States?
Japan, actually.
Oh, right.
I was on the same bill as them, and this is way before. It was in 2006.
Yeah.
I had no idea what was going to happen. Later on, 10 years after. I was playing with a group called Morningwood, and we played this thing called Udo Fest. And
Okay.
we were in Tokyo and Osaka, I think was the two. And one of them was Mount Fuji, whichever one's is closest to the city, was at Mount Fuji. And that's when I actually got to meet them. I waited around their dressing room all day and like just was patient and asked the tour manager photos and I got photos with each guy in makeup and then saw the show. And yeah, so Japan's the only time I actually saw him. It was gonna work out where I was gonna get to see him in 2020 because I was gonna be over there with Accept.
Yeah.
And it just, of course, everything happened, so I didn't get to. But I don't know, maybe 2022 we'll be sharing some festival dates.
Yeah, well, I think it's pretty cool in the sense that I got to see them here in Ireland. I actually traveled over to Madrid to see them about 3 years ago now.
Oh,
And
yeah.
on their it's actually, I think it's pretty cool that I saw, how geeky does this sound? I saw one of the very last Kiss shows before they announced their end of the road tour. So like one of their last kind of we're still touring shows, if that makes sense.
That's right. Yeah, Madrid.
Yeah.
There was a couple Spanish shows, wasn't there? Barcelona and Madrid, and yeah.
Yeah, there were a few. I saw them in Madrid, so that
Cool.
was just awesome. And I still have a ticket now to see them in Hamburg, so that's going to be cool.
Oh, very, very cool.
I'm really excited just to see those different S's, and I hope to meet them. So if I can do that with the cool backdrop with the S's,
Oh, yeah, I never thought about that. I like to see a German show too. Come to think of it.
Yeah, I was saying it to my girlfriend, and she was just like, I didn't think you could get any like geekier. Like it's just a fucking logo. Like seriously.
Oh, you can get geekier.
Oh, you really can. Yeah, you should see my bedroom.
You can get geekier.
Oh, you really can. And so, okay, so you've been playing music like your whole life. You've like since you're a teenager now. How did you actually start working with Gene Simmons?
That came through Ryan Cook, who is one of the members of Gene's band and Ace's band. So Ryan and actually Jeremy from Gene and Ace's band too, they had a group called Big Rock Show that played on every Kiss cruise. And Ryan was kind of the go-to guy for that group from Sixth Band, and he also knew Doc McGee and and Scott McGee back for a while, for a few decades. And so on one of the Kiss cruises, Gene reached out and to Ryan's like, let's have lunch, and kept on getting pushed every day. And it was finally the last day of the cruise. And Ryan's like, it's not going to happen. So finally he's like, it happens. So Ryan gets called to meet with Gene for lunch, where Gene asked him to put together a band to do 5 solo shows. It was only going to be like 5 or 6 that were hooked into these comic conventions that Gene was appearing at called Wizard World, where he was doing Q&As, photo ops, signing stuff, things like that. So it was worked out where in whatever city the convention was in, that night there was going to be a gig, and then we were going to be the Gene Simmons band. And so that's what it was for. And so Brian was like, I know exactly who I'm going to ask to do this.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with anything that any of us had done before, like other than Ryan doing Big Rock Show and knew Gene and knew Doc. I mean, Gene didn't know who the hell we were and didn't care. It was just like, get some guys. And Ryan's like, I know exactly who it is. So that's how we got the gig with Gene.
And was there any reason for having 3 guitar players? Like, was that kind of like a Gene?
I'll tell you how that happened. Because at first, Gene said that he wasn't going to play bass. He was just going to sing lead. And we're going to pass the bass around, like, that. And then Ryan said, like, sir, with all due respect, I really think that Kiss fans want to see you play bass. And Gene said, okay, I'll play bass. And then we were all in. It's like, well, you're not getting rid of one of us now. It's a package deal. And then we realized that we could do a pretty cool thing. We could do the record arrangements. So if there's a guitar harmony, you can still have the chords behind it. So that's why in Deuce, like at the fade out of the studio record, you have that harmony. We did that. We also did Christine 16 harmony. We did Radioactive harmony. You know, we did all these things like the record so we could give some people a different, play a different arrangement than they were going to get at a Kiss show.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. You actually even did Love Team from Kiss. I just watched before you got on call. I thought, I'll watch one of the shows again because I watched the videos as they went up like a few years ago. But I thought I'm gonna watch that Australian show where Ace gets up. So I watched the full thing, and you guys went into Love Team from Kiss, and I think you doubled up on like the main melody, and then you're actually playing the high harmony, I believe.
In the high part, yeah.
Yeah.
In rehearsal, we went into acrobat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we did. Because Gene, we finished it. We kind of we shortened it a little bit and worked out the arrangement. And he's like, "This is really cool. This is great." I think we went into War Machine or went into a song from it. And then when we get done with it, he goes, because he wasn't presumptuous, like, oh, these guys know everything, which we did, but he acted like we didn't know stuff, which is kind of cool. And he said, we used to go into a song called Acrobat. And we go, we know that too. So one of us started playing it and we went through it. We kind of played Acrobat with Gene, which was pretty fun.
That's funny. Yeah, I was actually listening to, I had on Ace Frehley Live +1 just a while ago on vinyl. Sure. The album. And he went into Breakout. And in my head, I went, oh, that's Car Jam. That's cool. So I know what you mean. Like, you can kind of like...
Yep.
Yeah. So I have to hit you with a difficult question. But maybe you don't want to answer. That's cool. But do you see you guys getting into the studio and putting out a Gene Simmons album?
Just based on, that's never been talked about ever, and based on what Gene and Paul both kind of say about making a new Kiss record, I don't see it, because they're at this point a new product, as for not like a reissued product, obviously, but like, a new thing with new songs. They don't really see the need in it. I mean, I kind of agree with them, to be honest. So yeah, I don't really see it. I'm hoping we do some more shows. That would be a blast. Do some more shows with Gene. We just had the best time with him. He was just the coolest. Ask any of the guys and they'll say the same thing that I say with a smile on their face as big as mine. He was the best. He was so much fun. And it was only the 5 of us. It was only Gene and the 4 band guys traveling, no crew, no nothing. So we spent a lot of time together, traveling together. We rode from the hotel to the venue together, from the airport to the hotel together. We ate together at the hotel breakfast. We had dinner at catering at the gig together. And we really hung out a lot. And he was always fun. He really had a good time. He was really great.
That's awesome. You can really see, I could see as a Kiss fan watching it, everybody has a smile, including Gene. And I think he really fed off your energy, and you could see him almost finding his love for it all again, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think he liked, for him, he could just wear what he had on. There was no getting ready, and it was just kind of, hanging out, and, and he would always, when Ryan was setting up the shows, Ryan was kind of the default tour manager for all those shows. And, Ryan would always make sure Gene had his own dressing room or his own trailer or something, and we had our own separate, because he always had meet and greets, interviews, and we always wanted to give him his space. Never failed. After sound check, within 5 minutes, we're in our room. What are you guys doing in here? I got way more places to sit out in my room. Come on. So he'd either come into ours if we had a bigger setup, or he'd get us to come over to his. And it was always a lot of fun. And he did. There was one instance where we were somewhere in the northern United States, Wisconsin or Minnesota or somewhere, riding from a casino to our hotel or to our airport. And it wasn't in the best shuttle van. It was kind of a rundown shuttle bus. And Gene's sitting there, we're all kind of talking, riding together. And Gene's like, this is just like the old days. He goes, "This is great." And Ryan leans forward and goes, "Can we skip to Japan 77, please?"
Yeah.
But it was fun. He was, I don't know, it was like he was one of the guys in the band. He was very band forward. He would come and physically push us, forward if he didn't think we were up front enough, But no, it was really fun. He was really great.
That's awesome. So how did it come about that like you guys would do the set lists? Would it be a different set list each night, or would you guys get a say in?
It actually was a different set list each night. At least one song was different. We never did the same set twice.
Wow. Okay.
At least one song was different because the first gig we did was a corporate gig in Canada for like this big convention where Gene was a keynote speaker, and it was more of kind of a private gig. It wasn't in front of Kiss fans. Okay. So we actually, in that one, we did the big Kiss tunes, and then we did some Motown stuff like Money, and I forget like some other like R&B tunes that Gene liked. So the next show was going to be Cleveland. That was going to be the first one in front of Kiss fans. So Gene reached out, was like, let's drop the R&B stuff. What are some cool Kiss songs that we want to do? And we were like, oh, because that was our goal all along, was like, we're going to get some, because this is going to be a very select crowd. They're going to love obscure tunes. So we started throwing Charisma, got Love for Sale, Radioactive. I forget what other ones that we did, but we kept on, and that never stopped. We always kept on bringing up songs throughout the 2 years, and a few would go out, one would come back in. We'd cycle them through, which explains the varied set list. And Gene was very daring and brave about what he would try. Musically, he'd remember it pretty quickly. Lyrically, not even close.
Yeah.
Jeremy has the best handwriting of anybody in the band. So he had the pleasure of writing out these big poster boards to go on the floor with, key words of the lyrics all written out in them. So that's how we did the, non-regular tunes and somehow got through them all.
That's great. And are there any songs like that? Are there any songs that you're surprised that Jesus, Gene actually did that one?
I was surprised at Love Theme.
Okay.
That was like, wow, because I suggested that one as like an intro to a song. And went for it. I was like, oh, wow, cool. Like, this is going to blow people's heads off if we come out with this. Only ones that he didn't go for, Love 'Em, Leave 'Em.
Okay.
Was the one, and Larger Than Life. We tried like hell to get those two in there.
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't go for it. But everything else, he was pretty cool. The 80s stuff, he wasn't really too keen on. We did get Fits Like a Glove in there.
He did, yeah.
But that was because our drummer's last name was Fitz, because it was Brent Fitz on drums. And he thought it was funny. So did that one. Yeah, the 80s stuff, he wasn't too, wasn't digging that stuff. But yeah, he was really cool with whatever we kind of suggested. And, he had final say, obviously.
Yeah.
But we were always like, hey, how about Ladies' Room? How about Ladies in Waiting? How about so-and-so? And he got into it too. He would bring stuff. We ended up doing a song from Asshole, Sweet and Dirty Love, which I was doing. That was really cool. So he got into it too with bringing in songs. Ladies in Waiting was his suggestion, I think. A few more.
I think I was a cool one as well. You guys got I in the set.
I think that was one, because I think Kiss had done that one on a cruise a couple times, and so that one was cool. We added that. She's So European. He was very taken back by that one. He's like, "You think we should do that one?" We think it'll be pretty cool. It was big in Australia, So we kind of wanted to do that for Australia. Throw a couple. We actually put World Without Heroes. We did that a couple times.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
It had a cool arrangement to it. We got a kind of guitar harmonies. Kind of did the one of the big kind of either keys or strings in the album track. I arranged. I think I did a little mock arrangement for us to go off of, and it was kind of guitars doing the harmonies. We did it like 3-4 times.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is it true that you guys did When You Wish Upon a Star?
Yes, unfortunately it is.
Really?
One time. So we're somewhere up north on that same run in Wisconsin or Minnesota or somewhere, and we get done with sound check, and he goes, "Guys, I have an idea." He goes, "I think at the end we should play Wish Upon a Star." We go, "Oh, great!" I thought it was on the PA as we're like saying bye. It's like, that's a great idea. No, 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 no. Play it on your guitars. What?
Yeah.
He's like, yes, turn your volume down and play the chords and we'll do it. We go, we already finished sound check, so we can't rehearse this. And we're going,
And you're gonna pull out something like that to do it on.
yeah, exactly. So we're all wearing Les Pauls and, pretty hot guitar tones. And we're like, okay, we know how this is going to go. So we did it. We tried it. Never did it again. We did it one time.
There's no video of it anywhere.
Thank God.
Oh, no, I want to see that. See, if you were on the other side of the fence, you'd want to see that too.
I don't want anybody to see that.
So how did you guys do that? Like, who did which parts, if you can recall?
Just kind of, if I remember right, we just kind of worked out the chords. Like, we tried to make them as easy as possible. Maybe one guy do because that's a pretty lush arrangement. It's a complete Disney, because he did it true to the Disney arrangement. So we may have looked it up we probably Googled it and then put it in the key of where he could sing it.
Because you guys were playing in D, right? D
and
standard.
and I can't think of what key we did it in. We were tuned a whole step down. I can't remember what key we did it in. We just kind of did words like, where do you want to sing it? Okay, cool. That's one. And I think we just kind of went off an arrangement like a simplified jazz arrangement. I'm going to put jazz in quotes. Where a couple of the guys were doing the basic chord. Maybe one guy was doing, add a ninth in there, add some of the, make it some of the, jazz it up or something. But yeah, it didn't go very well. It didn't go very well.
Okay, so I'm not missing anything, no?
No, not at all. You're not missing anything. Now in Australia, when we were kind of saying bye, they played that on the PA, which was the best idea. Yeah. It was great. Because we opened the show with the weird, special effects, scary stuff from his solo record.
And and then you went into Shout It Out Loud. I was waiting for Radioactive. That was cool.
We did that in Cleveland.
Oh, really? You went into Radioactive in Cleveland?
We went to Radioactive in Cleveland, and then that was the last show we did that, because then the next show we went into Deuce.
Okay.
Put Radioactive back down. What I loved opening with Radioactive because it segued right in there. But in Australia, I think in Sydney, he flipped the set list and we just shut it out loud. That was the night Ace came up and played Deuce. We moved Deuce to the end because of that reason.
I'd say that was such a cool moment. Was that the first time that you guys played with Ace?
No, the first time we played with Ace was actually in the spring of... Man, I get my years confused now, man. I think it was...
I'm sure I can help you out because I'm a big fan of Gene and Ace. And I was watching all the stuff cool on YouTube. And actually, I'm a huge fan of when Ace had that band. About 5-6 years ago, with Richie Scarlett, there was Scott Coogan on drums, and the guy, I believe he's actually Irish as well on the bass. I believe he comes from somewhere around where I come from, which is kind of coincidental. But I love that band, and I thought they were so cool. And one day, a new show went up on YouTube, and I was also thinking Jesus, Gene Simmons has a great band. The three of you guys are fucking killer, the guitar parts, the vocal harmonies, all of it. And one day, an Ace show goes up. And I went, oh no, he replaced his band. He took my favorite Ace band away, and I clicked on the video and I went, oh no, it's Gene Simmons' band.
He did a gig with us. Ace came and sat in. It was in Minnesota at a charity show in April of 17. I think it was really early on in the Gene stuff. So that was the first time we played with Ace. It was him sitting in with Gene, with Gene's band, with us. Okay. So we did Parasite, Cold Gin, Rock and Roll on I, and a couple others. My memory fails me right now. But then so we didn't see him again until soundcheck at the first show in Australia, and then that was the first we'd actually played an Ace set.
Yeah.
Was at sound check before the show. After we traveled 36 hours, and there was no night off when we got there. We went from the airport to the venue.
Well, I'd say that was so cool.
We flew from Eastern Canada, Quebec, all the way across Canada, all the way to Adelaide. Adelaide was the first night.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And like, was there a kind of element of what the fuck did we just do? We just played with Gene Simmons, and now we're going to play with who?
It was just like, because I mean, the Gene thing was cool enough. You know, we got the Ace thing. The Ace Australia tour was only for logistics. There was no talk of us being the new group at all. That was only because Ace knew that we knew the songs, because he already played with us.
Yeah.
And he said, use your guys. It'd be easier if I can just bring a guitar tech and And Gene's like, sure. So we, asked, Ryan, and there was definitely, I'm simplifying it just because I wasn't in on the back and forth of it. Ryan worked out all the stuff with everybody and all that stuff. So Ryan had to do all that work. For me, it was just I got to play with Ace, and that was it. But Ryan had all the work, the planning work. But that was what it was. It was only for logistics. And we finished those 4 Australian shows, and then we went on to Japan.
Okay.
Did actually 8 shows in 4 nights with Japan, with Ace in Japan.
I remember I was contemplating going over for New Zealand. You guys did New Zealand as well, is that right?
We didn't. I've never been to New Zealand.
Oh, I could be wrong. You guys, no, Newcastle, I'm sorry. Newcastle in Australia, right?
We did Adelaide, Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney.
I'm 99% sure Newcastle was in there as well.
Not with us. That may have been Ace and Alice Cooper.
That's what it was.
Yeah, because that was.
I'm wrong with you. Yeah, sorry.
That was before. That was about a year or maybe a year or 2 before we went over there with Ace and Gene, because he had that great tour poster for that tour. It was really cool.
He did the
that was the Newcastle. That was Newcastle. We did. I've only been to 4 Australian cities twice. Those same 4.
Okay.
And then we went from there. I think Brisbane was the end of it, and then we went to Japan. It was 3 nights in Tokyo and 1 night in Osaka.
Awesome. So what's the difference between like the set list with a Gene Simmons show and then putting together a set list for an Ace Frehley show? Is there much of a difference?
The Aces stays the same.
Okay.
Much variation. The actual show with Ace is more structured, because Gene would start talking and he'd get somebody to yell something, and he'd go over here and talk to this person. So, and then we'd get people up on like 3 songs.
Yeah.
Do You Love Me?
I'm dead for loving you.
I Love It Loud.
Yeah.
And Rock and Roll All Night. We'd have like a group of people come on stage. Doesn't happen with Ace. So Aces is more like a structured show. It's paced quicker.
Okay.
So, yeah. That's a bit different. And, with Gene, the set list could change, daily. And it did,
So what would be more of a comfortable environment for you? A kind of structured Ace show, or a kind of anything can happen in Gene's show?
Honestly, both. I'm ready for both. Ace is definitely more comfortable, because you know just what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You kind of even know the space between songs. Like, it's pretty locked in tight, which is very good when you're doing a bunch of shows in a row, because you just get settled in and you get tighter. And with Gene, there was always that element of surprise.
Yeah.
Which is good too, because it keeps you on your toes, and you're always kind of looking around and looking for him cueing something else. It keeps your eyes open, So I enjoy both.
And that's really kind of funny, because if you think about it, then it means that Ace's shows are kind of more similar to a Kiss environment than Gene's.
Gene definitely, one of his things was he wanted to give a different experience in a Kiss show, which he definitely did. That's why he got folks on stage. That's why we played different songs, like more obscure stuff. He definitely wanted to kind of do more than he's like a regular Kiss show. And we wanted to do that too, because people already go see Kiss. We're like, well, let's play even the songs that Kiss does play. Let's play it with a different arrangement. Let's play the studio record arrangement. We wanted to do that too. And I think the fans loved it. I mean, once we did a gig in Cleveland, that first gig, we broke the internet as far as the Kiss Army goes. I mean, people couldn't believe we were doing the songs, and we sounded great, we sang well, and that is when it went from 5 shows to 2 years of work, because promoters got wind of it and started calling Gene, wanting to do more shows outside of the conventions.
Yeah, no, it really went over well, and I think it went so well that I think after the end of the road tour, what do you think? Do you think it will continue?
I don't know. I know Gene hates sitting down.
Yeah.
And being still. The guy works circles around all of us combined. It's like he doesn't stop. Doc puts it a great way. Doc's like, Gene quit school because he hated recess. It's totally true. So I don't know, what's going to happen with doing shows, but I mean, I know I'd love to, and the guys would love to also, but I know Gene will be active doing something because the guy does not stop.
So you guys did the 40th anniversary of Ace's 78 solo album, and I think it was professionally recorded and everything. Will that ever see the light of day?
Oh, we never did the professional recording. We did one performance of it at the Expo in New Jersey, and the only footage I know is what I've seen on YouTube, like from random stuff. I know there was talk of doing it, doing a couple nights at some theater. I would love to do that. I always wanted to do a tour where that was the centerpiece of the show, because it's only 38 minutes long. So you can do that whole record, and you can still do Rock Soldiers, you can still do Cold Gin, you can still do, you're already doing Rip It Out, and New York Groove in the set anyway, sometimes even Snowball. So you got 3 songs right there. So you do Parasite, throw in, some other ones. Straight Days, you got your whole show, and you've got this, the solo album as a centerpiece. But that was really fun doing that, because I don't know if he'd ever done that before. I don't think he had ever played it top to bottom like that. So that was really fun. The rehearsals for that were more fun than the show, actually.
And is Ace always there?
Yeah.
Wow.
We rehearsed in New Jersey for a couple days. We went into this really small room. Everybody just had like one amp apiece. It was screaming loud. Everybody was like in each other's face. It was really cool. We all worked really hard getting the arrangements right and figuring out, like, Fractured Mirror's got, 18 guitar parts in that thing pretty much. So it was really fun, like arranging, thinking, okay, you do that and you switch to that there. And, it was really fun working all that stuff out. And then plus we'd get done, and Ace would tell stories from recording the songs. All these him and Anton Fig being crazy and stuff. It was really cool. That was a lot of fun. That was like a band working in your garage. It was a super small room, and it was really, really fun. We all worked really hard to get that good.
Yeah, it probably kind of shows you that, like, the attitude never really leaves them. Like, they're still the same rock and roller.
Exactly. And you see that with Gene, too, because when we rehearsed with Gene, the same kind of thing. It's when you're just talking music, and when you finally break through all the, oh my God, which never does really leave full. They always have that to you, but when that kind of goes away a little bit, and you kind of break through it, and you see it like, man, he's a guitar player. He's a musician, he's a songwriter, and that's when it's like, it puts everybody on the same level, because it's kind of like, working together. It's always fun. It's like, wow, they're obviously have achieved, more than most people are ever going to achieve that set out to be musicians. I mean, really.
Oh yeah.
But when you do get down to it, that's what they are, and that's always cool to remember. It's like, oh, cool.
And do you have to kind of refrain? Like, are you guys in a situation where you're like refraining from taking selfies with Ace and Gene?
No, we do sometimes, and we definitely don't wear them out. We definitely get some stuff signed. Not anymore. Like, and with Gene, we try not to wear him out with questions. We would if something come up, we're like, hey, what about the recording of this song? And he would remember. Gene remembers most stuff. Yeah. And he would answer if you remembered, and he was, always very gracious. We try not to kill him with stuff. But if we had something that, hey, I thought of something the other day, he was always very cool. And with Ace too, it's like, hey, do you remember what that was? And sometimes Ace does, sometimes Ace doesn't. But yeah, they're always very gracious. I've got several things, signed by the guys, and it's always really, it's always cool. I'm kind of like, I think I have everything I'm going to get signed now. So
Okay.
yeah.
Because had you met Ace like years ago anyway?
No, I'd never met him. I'd of course met Gene in '06 in Japan. Got a photo with him and everything, but I had never met Ace before I was on stage with him.
Yeah.
Really. So.
Okay, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because with the thing we did, before we were Ace's band, the thing we did where he played with us and Gene, we didn't rehearse. He walked on stage and there he was, and you can see like you can see on our faces the YouTube stuff. We're going crazy. We were losing our minds. It's like, here he comes, and it was like, it's fucking Ace Frehley, and we all just kind of step back and just watch those two guys stand together. We did it in Australia too. It's like, wow, man, we're probably never going to get to do this again. So we step back and just like, watch those two guys stand together and like, wow, those two guys are half of our favorite band.
I love that moment in Deuce where you guys, the three of you guys, did the dance, and Ace joined in, and he looked around at you guys and just like, yeah, stop.
And she's like, oh, we didn't, because we didn't even talk about that, and we didn't plan it out. So we all kind of lined up at the end. We're like, are we doing it? Okay, we're gonna do it. At least that was pretty funny.
Yeah. So I noticed one thing that stood out to me as a guitar player. I always have my Gibson Les Paul strapped around my neck. I was expecting you guys to all play Gibsons, but you don't. What kind of gear do you guys use when you go and play?
So those guitars it's a company called Vintage Guitars. They're not old. That's the name of the company. I got wind of them. I saw one hanging on a shelf in a store I go to in Nashville. I picked it up and played it. I couldn't believe it. And they make guitars that look like classics, right? So this one looked like a certain Fender model. And I picked it up. I was like, wow, this thing is great. This blows my real one away. I kind of looked at the price tag. It's like $450 US. And I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Yeah. So I couldn't believe it. So I got a hold of the people of the company. And so got a hold of them, and they sent me one that was based off of a certain Gibson model that everybody loves. And so I got mine. It was great. Showed it to the guys. Said, you got it. You got to check these out. Yeah. How we all got on board, and they've been Rick Taylor is our rep here for the States. It's a British company. Trent Wilkinson is the guy behind it. And so, Rick Taylor is the guy who takes care of us in the States, and they've been the most supportive, and they make great, great, great guitars that are affordable. And so if you go get one of the guitars off the wall and pay $500 for it, that's what we play. We're not doing any kind of, their most expensive guitar is like $650, $700 US, which is nothing. Yeah. We're going to get like I don't know what the conversion is, but
it's $100 is about €80 over here.
Yeah. So it's extremely affordable.
Oh
yeah. And they're really great quality, and if you take them on tour and they break, you're not going to cry because you haven't broken your $7,000 Les Paul.
Yeah. I was thinking that was the number one reason, but that's cool that it's not.
But they actually play great. I've got a couple that outplay the real thing. They also, that's the bass I play with Ace. They made me a J bass copy, and that is the most comfortable bass I've ever played in my life. That's a really special instrument. That plays great. It's blue. It's got a jazz bass neck on it, so it's super thin down there. Man, that thing plays itself. So really love those guys. They're big supporters, and I'm really, really thankful for all their help and their good gear.
Yeah. I actually have Jeremy on the show tomorrow, and he
cool.
That white like LP body shape that he plays. I think that's a pretty cool one.
Well, the
Actually,
thing is, like when we got the gig, the thing is we are the audience.
yeah.
I mean, we are every bit the Kiss, devotee that everybody in the crowd is, and I think that's why the fans can see that because of all the interviews that we've done now and the attention to detail that we played in all the songs. We play the solos the right way. We sing all the harmonies right. We don't change anything because Gene told us it's like, you don't have to play the solo the same. We're like, yeah, we do. Like we wouldn't think of doing this differently. So that the reason that we did all that stuff wasn't because we were told to.
Okay.
It was because we would never go up there and just jam, jam a solo to Deuce. That's not what you do.
Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah.
When we know that we get tomatoes thrown at us, if we did that, but there's no way we would ever do that. So, and the fans can see the fact that we're, massive fans as well.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. A geeky question for you. Do you know what the reason is that Ace doesn't play his 300 guitar anymore? You know that signature 300 Les Paul? It's actually mine is a fake version of it. You know that one?
Yeah, I don't really know. He plays. He's got a 59.
Yeah.
New reach that he plays mainly. The Smoker, and then he's got the. He's still got. He's according to him, Gibson is making the Black Beauty.
Okay.
He said, "Oh, they're making my new signature model. They're gonna make the Black Beauty." And that one, he actually had that out for the expo show where we did the solo record, so that was cool. Then he plays the New York groove guitar, the light with the lights on it.
That's from the reunion tour.
Yeah. I'm not sure if he has one of those, if he has one of the one of those or not. One of the 300.
Yeah, because I really miss it. I'm like, that's Ace. Like Ace should be with that guitar.
It's cool, and they also had the Budokan.
Yeah, that's right.
On reissue too.
That's right. I was on YouTube actually before, like I was doing all my homework the past week, and I looked today. I just YouTubed your name, and one of the first things that comes up is I didn't know that you recreated the Mike Douglas skit.
Yeah.
See, we ask geeky questions on Tales of the Kids.
That was it. Then we did a thing in Florida right before Christmas last year. We actually pulled off socially distanced, very, very, very heavily regulated, mini expo type thing. And I haven't put any up in a while, but I had a podcast talk show called Shouse Rules. I did a few episodes, and my computer kind of stopped doing big editing jobs. I got to get some more memory. But it was Neil, the organizer's idea to do to kind of redo the Mike Douglas thing as part of the Shouse Rules show. So yeah,
cool.
Pretty funny. The guy they had it doing Toady Fields just crushed. He was amazing. I think it was Matt.
Yeah.
It's just great. He was just awesome. He's an actor in Florida, so he was into it. And Toady Fields is a big hero of his. Yeah, he just nailed it. It was so funny.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I actually watched you guys did a live stream, and it was the Christmas Masquerade is what it was.
Yes, same show. Yeah.
Oh, that was that show.
Yep.
Okay, because I bought my ticket and I watched you guys did Rock and Roll Over in full.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
That was fun, and I got to play all of Neil's cool basses because Neil plays bass, plays Gene in a Kiss tribute band called Kiss America, and he's got Spectres, he's got all those cool basses like the '70s Gene basses. So I got to play all of those, and man, those are really nice. They're all smaller scale, really comfortable to play.
Yeah,
and that was a good time.
That's badass. So I believe the first album you're on of Aces is Origins Volume 2.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about that. How did that kind of come about?
Yeah, so it was before the pandemic. It was early 2020, and we had just added She to the set, like last winter, the previous fall, and Ace called Ryan and asked, he's like, "You think you guys could do She for the record?" Yeah. So Ace, Ace did some guitar tracks of the arrangement, and he sent them to us, and we went in with Paul Simmons on drums in Nashville, and we just cut to Ace's guitar.
Yeah.
And we all the vocals are us on that one. We're all playing guitar, singing, playing. So yeah, that was a thrill, like getting the record, putting the needle down on an Ace record. It's like, there's me.
That's too cool.
This is really crazy.
That's so awesome. Are you going to be on any of his upcoming stuff?
Oh, if he asks, yeah, absolutely. I'll always do that stuff. I know he's writing new stuff, but Ace is so good at doing it himself because, I mean, he's a really good bass player because most of the bass on the 78 record is him,
Yeah.
Except for a few songs. So, yeah, he plays on a lot of stuff. But, man, I'd always be happy to do that. Hopefully he will. I'd love to be on some more stuff.
I hope so, because you guys are just too, I'm not just saying it, you're all too good not to be on this.
Thanks, Sean. Ben, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
I think the coolest thing that you guys could do is, I think, a Gene Simmons solo album with the three of you guys would just be awesome.
That's what people have said before, but I mean, just knowing kind of Gene and hearing what they've said about a new record, I don't think they'll go back into anything, but there may be a Vault #2 coming out. Who knows?
Now look, if it's anything to go by, they did say that they were never playing a show again in 2001. So I think anything's possible.
You're totally right. You're absolutely correct.
Come here, I had an absolute blast. I'm going to tell Jeremy tomorrow that you said hi. And before you go, I want you to plug away all your stuff. Tell me if you've got anything coming up.
Awesome.
It's your show right now.
So I have a product line for those of you who like dogs and rock and roll. It's called muttmerch.com, muttmerch.com. We do ship internationally. And just to give you a brief, I got a Black Labbath, the Beagles, Bones and Noses, Aerosniff, Grateful Dane. You get the picture. So I've got T-shirts for people and dogs, as well as all kinds of other products, coffee mugs and all that stuff. So check that out. Hopefully hitting the road this fall with some things. Accept is playing a festival in July. So that's going to be great. Pretty much riding out this pandemic. We're doing pretty well over here, actually. So shows are happening again. I just did a big Van Halen tribute this past weekend.
Awesome.
Which went great. It was a charity thing. Raised a bunch of money.
What did you do in the Van Halen band?
I'll play guitar.
Oh, really? Okay.
I used to play Eddie in a tribute band about a decade ago, and so I'm really good at faking that I can do that stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was great fun. It was me, Jeremy, and Ryan were a part of that as well. And that was a blast. We had about 7 of the people helping us out with that one. So we did 2 shows, sold out. That was fantastic. I don't think anything else coming up. Crossing our fingers for some stuff with the fall with Ace. Hopefully that'll happen. And we're just doing our best to do what we can and get through this. So
you're gonna have to drag him over here to Dublin.
I hope so, man. Hope so. Well, it's kind of tough to tour over there now.
It is a little rough, but I'm crossing my fingers as well that everything's going to get better. We actually have a show for...
Even if you go to Europe, Europe's cool, but getting everything for the UK now is pretty tough.
It is pretty tough, but we're actually crossing our fingers at the moment. We're supposed to be playing in November with Enough's Enough, so I'm hoping that goes ahead.
Oh, great. I've never been to Ireland.
Really?
I've spent so little time in all the countries I've been to, so little time in England and Ireland. I've never been to Ireland or never been to Scotland. So I'm crossing, come on, I'd love to go. I'm dying to go.
That's funny you mentioned Scotland, because actually it came up on my Facebook about a year and a half ago, maybe, just right before all this pandemic stuff happened. It was like February. And it came up on Facebook that Bruce Kulick was doing a guitar clinic and meet and greet over in Scotland. So I thought, okay, I would be crazy not to go. So I booked my ticket, I had it all, and then all of the world shut down and everything happened. But as fate would have it, it turned out that like I ended up getting like online guitar lessons from Bruce. He showed me how. Yeah, he showed me how to play some stuff from Revenge, all of that, and it just like I was thinking, I went from like getting in a photo with Bruce Kulick to actually having like hours long conversations with him over Skype. Like
That's great.
so,
That's
sometimes
really
I think
cool.
you take the good with the bad, you know.
Yeah. So I know Richie Malone from Quo.
Okay, you do, yeah.
We're supposed to meet up when we finally get back over there for a proper pint of Guinness. So
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, now you have to go. Now you have your ticket. I saw Steve Quo actually probably the most times of any band.
totally.
Yeah, you have to. Phil, thanks very much for coming on. I really had a blast, and you're always welcome back.
Absolutely, Glenn. I'll let Ryan. I'll tell Ryan to check his messenger and stuff too. So yeah, man, it was a lot of fun, man. I appreciate the invite.
Awesome. I'll have you back if you're willing to do it.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much, man. All the best.
All right, man. Take care, Glenn. Have a good one. See you.
So, guys, what a cool dude. Thanks very much to Philip for coming on Tales of a Kiss Geek. You really made it an awesome one. Everybody out there, thanks very much for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next one, and you have a great day.
Hey everybody, it's Bruce Kulick here, and you're watching Tales of a Kiss Geek.